welcome to another episode of the Milwaukee Beer Review. I'm Josh.
I'm Ross.
And today we've got a brand new release from one of our local breweries, Eagle Park. One of the great things about Eagle Park is they make all kinds of different unique combinations of beers. It's one of those local breweries that we like to frequent because every time you go there, there's something new to try.
They got a lot, very good variety. They kind of specialize in their milkshake IPAs, but honestly, like everything they have, top to bottom, is great. They have a very, very wide selection of beers over there.
Yeah, it's everything is unique, different flavor combinations, different styles. They are, like you said, known for their milkshake style beers, but really, really good stuff. They have two locations. Their main location is in downtown Milwaukee on Hamilton Street on the Lower East Side. And they just actually opened a new location in Muskego. Pretty new, probably oddly timed with the pandemic, but everything I've heard, I have not been inside yet, but everything I've heard is it's absolutely beautiful.
It is a great location. I've been to both locations. Actually, just there yesterday to pick up what we're having today. It's a fantastic spot, good big bar, good dining area. They have an upstairs, and it's a distillery. So they do have some spirits there as well, which they have been releasing in the last year. Haven't had a chance to try any of those yet, but I've heard really good things.
Yeah.
So as we kind of mentioned, they did do a release yesterday, and that's what we're going to be sampling today. They have two different variants of the Booze for Breakfast, which is both our Imperial Stout, and then they also did a Triple Raspberry SLUSH, which is a sour ale. And a SLUSH is one of those variants that they do kind of a wide variety of. So the first one we're going to do is the Imperial Breakfast Stout. So this one comes in at about 11%. It's maple syrup, bourbon barrel-aged coffee bean, which I'm really kind of curious about. And then it's got some Madagascar vanilla in it as well. So I think I'm not exactly sure what to expect. I'm expecting kind of just that coffee or stout, but we'll see what we're going to get with it.
Yeah, it's not a full bourbon barrel-aged beer. Based on the ingredients list, it's bourbon barrel-aged coffee beans, so I think we'll have some flavors of that bourbon barrel aging in it, but it'll be interesting to see. And, I mean, who the heck doesn't want booze for breakfast?
Exactly.
I mean, it's the way to start the day, quite frankly. All right, so we're going to get this thing in the glass, and we'll give it a shot here.
All right, so let's see what we got. So right off the bat, it's very, very dark, not transparent at all. Got that nice kind of dark brown caramel head to it. Pretty carbonated for a stout, actually. Kind of surprised by that. But no, it's a very thick beer.
Seems to be well carbonated.
Yeah.
Booze for breakfast.
All right.
Thanks for pouring again, Ross. Let's get a little nose on this beer.
There's a lot of syrup up front. I'm getting a ton of syrup when I first get in there.
I'm getting coffee beans.
I'm getting that too, yeah.
A lot of roasty, coffee bean notes from it right off the bat. A little bit of that sweetness, I think, from the maple syrup, like you're talking about. I get that too. Right up front.
I mean, not to sound cheesy here, but it smells like breakfast. Like
it
if
does.
You walk in and you get
Pancakes.
breakfast served to you, yeah.
Pancakes, waffles. Yep. Let's try it.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Wow. I definitely get that little bitterness of the coffee up front, but that syrup is really powerful in the back, and it's
really powerful.
Like that is a very strong. It's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but it does overpower everything else at the end.
Not bad at all. Honestly, probably one of the strongest flavors of maple syrup I've gotten out of a beer in a while. I mean, that's very, very maple syrup forward on the back end of the beer. I can still taste it. That's really, really good. I lose the coffee on the back end of the beer.
Easily.
Just because the maple syrup is so overpowering.
I like the first initial sip. You get that kind of coffee, a little bit of bitterness, but that syrup is just... It's very strong. It's not overly sweet for being a syrupy taste. You expect it to be sweeter, but it's not. It's pretty diluted in the sweetness, but you get all that syrupy taste, and it's really good.
For 11% ABV, you never know.
I forgot it's 11%.
And definitely, the carbonation, it looked when we poured it, it was going to be heavy on the carbonation. I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that as I try the beer, as I'm actually drinking the beer. I don't get an overpowering, bite of carbonation to the beer.
It is a dark beer. We've had some variants earlier, some different beers, some different stouts recently. This is a much darker color than I think we've had so far.
I'm curious how this will age out.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, this just released yesterday, so I'm curious how that maple flavor ages out and if it kind of bakes, as we let it sit for a bit. But really, really good. I like that for a first beer. Where would you place it? Putting this in Untappd.
So if we're putting this on Untappd, I would probably have a 4.25. I think it's really good. I think it got a lot of good things going for it. I think the syrup is really good. And 4.25 is a good score. It's a lot of syrup taste, though. It kind of overpowers it. I think this is a good one to sip on. I don't know how much I would want to drink of this in a single sitting, though. It's kind of where I'm coming from. But the taste is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. Me, I'm putting it around a 4. I think it's really, really good. I'd like to try like a standard base version of their Imperial Stout along with this to kind of see how it kind of reflects off of that base beer. But I think just trying this straight off the bat, it's really, really good. A lot more breakfast maple flavor than I was even anticipating. I expected more coffee. So, but it's really good. I'd put it at a 4. It's right up there.
It's a good start. Solid very, very good beer.
Yeah. So what are we trying next?
So next is the
Imperial French Toast Stout.
Do the same thing. We're going to have that maple syrup again, but instead of coffee, we're going to have cinnamon. So I'm not really sure what to expect. I've had beers with cinnamon in the past. I'll be honest, they're hit or miss for me. It's not something I seek out. I think sometimes spices in beers can get kind of overpowering. But this one also does have that Madagascar vanilla, so it should be good.
All right. Let's get it in the glass. Give it a shot.
All right. It's open. I'm expecting a pretty similar look. I can't imagine it's going to look very different. Yep, nice dark color. Not as much, same head, what's there. This one doesn't appear to be as carbonated as the previous one. The other one almost kind of looked like a soda when we first poured it, but this one looks a little smoother, a little less carbonated, but pretty much exactly what we saw with the previous beer.
All right, we got these poured. Let's get our noses in here a little bit. Not as maple forward.
No.
I'm surprised.
You smell that cinnamon. You definitely get that.
Yeah.
I'm smelling that and everything. You get some of the syrup, but not as strong as the previous one. The cinnamon kind of cuts that out. And, I mean, the name French Toast, it smells like French toast.
Yeah,
it really does.
I've got to really get my nose in there, though, to get the cinnamon. Like, if I'm at about this level, I'm not getting a lot of cinnamon, but if I really get in there, there's definitely some solid cinnamon notes to the nose on this. All right, let's give it a shot.
Cheers.
Whew. Yeah. I mean, kind of like the breakfast stout, immediately I get a little bit of cinnamon on the front, and then it's like cinnamon on the back end. Right up front, I get that traditional Imperial Stout flavor, kind of that smooth, silky, traditional stout, and then you get cinnamon, and then a lot of cinnamon on the back end. Like, I'm still tasting it right now. Like, very, very strong on the cinnamon side, which you'd expect, I would think, from a French toast stout like this. This is not my cup of tea. I've never been a French toast fan, but I can see why someone would really like this if they're into French toast, cinnamon, something with that flavor palette.
I agree. I love French toast. It's probably one of my favorite breakfast foods out there, and this tastes like you're eating French toast. A lot of cinnamon. You get some of the syrup. It's not as strong as the previous booze for breakfast. You get a little bit of that syrupy taste. It's, as Josh said, cinnamon across the board. And it's tasty. It's very good. Again, for me, cinnamon is one of those flavorings in beer where it's very good when I start to drink it, and as I get further and further down, I'm not sure if as it warms up or what it is. It gets me to be too much. So again, this is another beer. I'd be very curious how I feel as I got towards the bottom of it. But initial impressions, it's very, very good. I like the taste. It lives up to the name. It is a French toast stout. It tastes just like one.
A few more sips on this, though, and I do feel like the cinnamon blends really well into the Imperial Stout flavor to this beer. Like it's not like you sit at the end of it and it's like, oh my god, all I taste is cinnamon.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting a nice blend. The cinnamon flavor is there, but it's not overpowering. It's definitely there. It's present. It's strong, but it's not overpowering. So I think that's a good clarification here. If that would be a turnoff for you with a beer like this.
So where do you have this one ranked?
I would way rather drink this than eat French toast. I will put that up front. I would put this. I'm going to put it at a 3.75 because it's a beer I can definitely drink. It's not something I would choose to go out, but if somebody said, "Hey, I've got this, I've got, the booze for breakfast Imperial French Toast Stout," I would drink it all day long. I mean, I would love to drink this, but I'm not going to seek it out, so I'm going to put it around a 3.75, but I've got to give it at least that because I think it's a quality beer.
I'm going to give it about the same. I don't think... I think the cinnamon, again, it's not something I prefer in my beers. I'm going to give it 3.75 because it has that French toast taste, and like I said, I love French toast. I would rather have French toast maybe than this, but that's not a surprise. It's a very good beer. I prefer the other one a little bit more. The cinnamon to me is not a flavoring I just like in my beer. Mm-hmm. I think it overpowers it too much. So
good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we got one more, and completely changing gears with this next beer. So this one is the Slush series from Eagle Park. So, something else they're pretty well known for.
Yeah, Eagle Park does a lot of different variants off of their Slush beer. And what this one is a Triple Raspberry SLUSH Sour Ale. They just basically took their double raspberry slush and add more raspberry. That's what they did to it. So I've had some slush. I've had some of their slushes in the past. I'm sure you have as well. They're very good, but each one's very, very unique and different. So it's hard to judge one from the previous one. So it'll be interesting to have this one.
Yeah. Let's get it in the glass and give it a shot.
All right. So we'll get this poured out into wine glasses for some reason.
Hey, they're beautiful. Look at how beautiful that looks.
So right off the bat, I mean, obviously you see that raspberry color, which is not surprising given the slush beers I've had in the past. They're very unique in their color. They're very much model what they're trying to go after. Very interesting. Pink head is a very thick beer.
Decent amount of carbonation on that.
Yeah, good amount of carbonation. You can see... Yeah, it's a very unique color, especially what we've had so far to this point.
Yep. All right, we got these poured. I think before we start, just a note, 8.6% ABV on this, a little bit less than what we've been seeing with some of these Imperial Stouts and Milk Stouts we've been reviewing. So, but still up there, decent ABV on this. So if you're looking to get a little buzz going, I think this will still do the trick for you. So let's get a nose on it. Oh yeah, raspberry, just pure raspberry. Sour, I can definitely tell this is going to be a sour beer. You got raspberry. I mean, raspberries are sour just kind of by nature, but you're definitely getting that sour note on the nose. I mean,
it's
nothing else to describe other than just raspberry and sour. Yep, absolutely. All right, let's try it.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Woo!
As a change of pace. Mm-hmm. So, if you guys have been watching, we've been nothing but barrel-aged stouts, Imperial Stouts. To have a sour at this point, a raspberry sour is definitely changing, but it's very good. It's raspberry.
Like you said, major palate changer. We had a little glass of water in between takes here, so I think we've got a clean palate going into it, but even so, like you just, right up front, raspberry, and then I think through to the back end of the beer, it just kind of punches you in the mouth with that sour raspberry flavor, and it just continues all the way through the beer. I don't get really much else out of it other than strawberry, but it's triple raspberry. I mean, I don't know what else you'd expect, but that's definitely what's in here, and it's good. I mean, it's thick, it's pulpy, so you don't get that much on camera, but it is definitely like almost like it's not orange juice,
No.
pulpy orange juice consistency, but it's going up towards that level.
One thing looking at this, if you look at Josh's glass compared to mine, there's definitely a difference in the consistency of it. I wonder if that's how it's pouring, because his doesn't look as thick and as pulpy as mine does. And I'm wondering if that's how it settles. Obviously, maybe this is not a beer that you want to split into 2 pours. This might be just a beer you want to split into 1 big pour, because then you get everything involved. You're not going to get kind of somewhat of a thinner, because you can just see the pulp on the side of my glass, and he's not getting the same amount as I am. So that's one thing I did not think about when we poured these, and how that does pour.
I've had these beers before, though. I've not had this one, but this is right up there with them for me. I mean, I like raspberries, so this is one I would pick up off the shelf.
Yeah.
And I mean, Eagle Park does a lot of really unique stuff really, really well, and this is one of the things they do really well. If I'm rating this and putting it on Untappd today, I'm putting it at a 4.5, because this is just it's hard to even call this a beer, quite frankly, which I think it being in a wine glass, it belongs in a wine glass, in my opinion. I think it does.
I don't.
Agree to disagree. But I think this is something I would definitely drink. Yeah. It's not something I'm looking for if I'm having a night where I'm having some beers, but this is definitely something I'm looking for a dessert, special occasion, busting it out for kind of a treat type beer.
Yeah, I think it's very good. Like I just said, I've had some of the slushes before. I think this ranks to the top of my list of the slushes I've tried to this point. I'm going to go 4.25. I think it's right there. I have much disagreement with what you said. It is, if you don't like raspberry, you won't like this beer. It's raspberry, and that's it. There's no other taste notes. You get a little bit of sourness, but you get exactly what it says right there. I like raspberries. I think it's very good. I think they did a very good job with this one, because, again, with some of the other variants I've had, whether they've been good, it gets really pulpy. The flavoring sometimes can kind of get lost in that. This, I think, did a very good job of balancing that out.
Yeah. Good stuff. Fantastic release this week from Eagle Park. Love the brewery. Love checking them out and seeing some of the unique stuff they put out. If you're looking for any of this stuff, check out eagleparkbrewing.com. Last I checked this morning, they had all of these still available. Depending on location, your mileage may vary. Check it out yourself. I know some of this stuff is a bit limited, so if you can't find it, it might not still be there. But definitely, if you're looking for it, check out their website, and you should be able to find some stuff still out there.
Absolutely.
As always, keep a lookout for us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We've got an Untappd account. We'll be putting all of our ratings averaged between the two of us out in our Untappd space there. And if you found us here on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Do that anyways. We'd love to hear from you. Throw some comments. If you've tried these beers, if you've got thoughts, we want to hear from you. And if you've got anything you'd like to see from our channel here in the Milwaukee brewery market, let us know. More stuff coming. And thanks for all of your time and attention. Cheers to everybody out on the interwebs. Have a great one.
Have a good one.